Hey, Primetime Squad. We are back. We're back. We're back. We're back. And I'm going to finish this recipe that I was showing you guys yesterday when I was doing commentary while baking. Well, actually, while making some, what was we making? Mongolian beef. Most people just say beef and broccoli, and then you add a little rice, a little Chinese dish. And also, we made some homemade egg rolls, and we did that all last night. And I let my flank steak marinate overnight for the Mongolian beef and broccoli. So I told you guys I would come back and finish it off the next day. So the earlier video that I did last night, I'm going to take portions of that because that was like a 2-hour video because we was doing commentary on things going on YouTube and, different things. And also I was cooking, at the same time. So I'm going to take portions of that video out of the cooking part and mix it with this video to make a shorter version. So you can guys just have a short version if you wanted to, refer back to a video on how to do this recipe. But anyway, so we're going to make the Mongolian beef and broccoli. And first thing first, we're going to start off. We have to get our sauce together. And for the sauce, we're going to use some sherry. Can you all see that? I want to make sure you can see which version that I'm using. It's called Holland House Sherry. We're going to use some minced garlic. And I've showed you guys this before. This is the minced garlic that I like to use. And don't forget, we have our broccoli that we're going to be using too. 2 heads of broccoli. Remember, you just 2 cups of broccoli. Remember, you cut the heads off, throw the stems away. We also have flour. We're going to be using some flour, and I just have the gold medal flour. We also have some brown sugar. Take out the brown sugar. Brown sugar. Yeah, I remember that song by D'Angelo. And then we have some vegetable oil. And what else we got here? Okay. We got some low sodium soy sauce. So first thing first, we're going to make our sauce. And what consists of our sauce is a 1/2 cup of the low sodium. So I have my little cup here. We're going to do this thing. Come on. Oh, it shouldn't take that long to come out. So, okay. That little piece at the top sometimes is kind of hard to come off. But we'll just pour. And we'll pour, and we'll pour, and we'll pour. Until we get a 1/2 cup. Okay, that's about a 1/2 cup right there. So we're going to pour that in our bowl. We just need a little bowl. Okay. So we're going to put that to the side. Then we're going to blend in some brown sugar. And we need 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. So I'm going to take a regular spoon. Dig it in the brown sugar. One thing about brown sugar is when it's been sitting, after you use it, it kind of hardens up. So I just break it up a little bit with the spoon. And I'm going to scoop some in here. And that's a 1/2. I need a little bit more. Okay, there's another 1/2. So that's 1 tablespoon. That's about another tablespoon. 1/2 tablespoon, I should say. And then our final 1/2, because I can't find my whole tablespoon, so I'm using a 1/2. So that was 4 1/2s to make up 2 tablespoons. We'll put our sugar back. Seal it back up. Okay, then we're going to take our garlic. Garlic is it's for garlic cloves. If you use cloves and you chop them up or put them in the blender, I don't really like to chop up garlic cloves because they're messy. And even when you're using a blender, you got to scrape it out. And, so I like to use the minced garlic that, I showed you. So it calls for 4 garlic cloves. So what I do, I just use my 1/2 teaspoon and I just scoop a couple of teaspoons in here. Let's do 4. I like garlic, so I'm gonna put 4.5 teaspoons. Yes, love garlic. I know some people don't really care for garlic or they don't tend to use a lot of garlic, but I love garlic. So we got our soy sauce, we got our brown sugar, we got our garlic, and now we're going to get our flour. And from our flour, I have another spoon. And for our flour, we need 2 tablespoons. So again, since I can't find my tablespoon, I have a 1/2 tablespoon. So I'm just gonna, that's 1/2. I think I'm just gonna go out and buy me a whole nother set of spoons. That's 2 halves. That's 3 halves. I'm doing it a little at a time so I don't go overboard. And that's 4 halves. So, and yes, I did use different spoons. Don't want no cross-contamination on the spoons that I use to dip inside the sugar and the other spoon that I use to dip inside the flour. So now I'm going to take one of these spoons just to stir what we already have combined. Now we need sherry. 1 tablespoon of sherry. That's 1/2. The second half. So all our ingredients are in here. Again, 1/2 cup of low sodium soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 4 garlic cloves minced, 2 tablespoons of flour, 1 tablespoon of sherry. So I'm just going to stir this up really good. Get all the lumps out of here from the sugar and the flour. And it's coming together really well. Just stir it until most of the clumps are out. And then what we're going to do, now, mind you, again, I have the meat already out. And for those of you guys who did not get the recipe last night, I'm going to make sure I say it now. So to marinate the meat, which you do first, you need 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, 1 tablespoon of low sodium soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of water, 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, and 1.5 pounds of flank steak sliced into thin strips. You whisk together the baking soda, sugar, cornstarch, soy sauce, water, and vegetable oil in a large bowl. Then you toss the steak with the marinade to coat. Then you cover it and you refrigerate it at least an hour. So that's what you do before you make the sauce for the broccoli and beef. Now, it says marinate an hour, but I let mine marinate all night. When I marinate stuff, whether it's for a barbecue or, for something like this, I usually tend to let it go for hours, if not overnight. So all this is basically mixed up really well. Not too many clumps of the flour left. So that's cool. Now, what we're going to do, and I have a wok. I don't know if you can see it. Hold on, let me get the wok. I have a big wok. So what we're going to do is, with the wok, we're going to put in 2 tablespoons of the vegetable oil that I was showing you earlier. And then once it gets heated, we're going to add the broccoli. Remember, 2 cups of broccoli heads. And we're going to let that saute for about 3 minutes. And you got to stir it. Make sure it doesn't stick. And then after that, you put the broccoli, in a plate or set it in a bowl, something. And then after we do that, we're going to we have 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil that we're going to use, right? We only use 2 tablespoons in the broccoli, right? And then after the broccoli is all done, we set it aside. With that last tablespoon, we're going to add that to the pan, and then we're going to put the marinated meat and half of the sauce. So the meat and half of this in the wok. And we're going to let that cook and mix it around, let it saute for 3-4 minutes until it's cooked. Make sure it's not pink. And then we're going to add the broccoli back to it and the remaining sauce. And then let that cook for another minute or so. So right now I'm going to get my vegetable oil. Remember, we start off with 3 tablespoons, but only 2 of those tablespoons we're going to put in the wok. And then we'll add the 3rd tablespoon later. So, we got 2 tablespoons in here. I'm going to turn the eye on. And let me tell you, that meat that has been marinating all night, it smells so good. It smells so good, so good. But what I'm also going to do, let's see here. I'm going to try to add the recipe so you can see it. So let me see here. So I'm going to just scroll really slow. And of course, you write this down, at your leisure, if you want to try this recipe. The first part of the recipe, of course, is, for the meat, to marinate the meat. And then the bottom part, ingredients, is for, to cook the whole meal. And there's the directions that we just talked about. And again, you can write that down at your leisure, or you can go through the the replay and just, pause it wherever you need to pause it. But right now, I'm going to get this broccoli in this crock pot so we can get it cooking. And also, for those of y'all who might come into this live or this replay much later, it is Saturday, October 26th. It's almost the end of the month. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Saturday thus far. I have to be at work a little bit later. So right now, I'm just, trying to get this recipe out to you guys that I'm using. This was what my sons wanted for dinner today. So usually when they ask for, something specific for dinner, I usually make it for them. They never be all outrageous, like, oh, we want lobsters or we want, they're pretty basic boys when it comes to, foods and whatnot. They're not really like picky kids who, there's certain things that they don't like, but overall they generally, will eat almost anything or like to eat, a lot of different things. So let me saute this broccoli because it's warm. I can hear it. And we're going to saute this on low. Remember to stir it. You don't want for your broccoli to, cook too much, get burnt or anything. You can probably hear the wok crackling, crack-a-lacking. Getting the veggies all sauteed. And this is going to be so good. I already made the egg rolls last night. So those are already done. I put them in the fridge. I tasted one of them last night and I was like in heaven. And by the way, they're pork egg rolls. And the other part of the video that I'm going to add to this part does give the recipe for that. So you will have that recipe as well once I finish doing this video. So that's going to saute about 3 minutes. And then we're going to put that back in the same container that we took it out of. Or you can put it in a plate or, something else if you like. But I'm just going to put it back into the container that I took it out of because it's only going to stay there for a little while. Then I'm going to throw it back into the, mixture with the meat. So while that's cooking right there, the sauce again. We're about to use the sauce. We're going to use some more vegetable oil because remember, recipe calls for 3 tablespoons. We use 2 tablespoons to saute the broccoli. And we're going to use the 3rd tablespoon to put in the pan after we take the broccoli out. So we can use that to, cook the meat. So let me go ahead and stir the broccoli again. Make sure it's not sticking or burning. Want it to kind of soften up, soften up. I love sauteed veggies. I like using my wok as well when I'm making one pot recipes. I tend to use my wok a lot because it can hold a lot. And of course, the way it's shaped, how it curves up, you don't have to worry about the food falling out when you're trying to stir stuff. So, okay, that's been about 3 minutes. So we're going to take that out. And again, we'll put it back in the container that it came out of. And then we're going to add the last tablespoon of vegetable oil to the wok, which I'm doing right now. Let that heat up a little bit. Yes, Yes, Lord. Ooh, ooh. I love beef and broccoli. And egg rolls. Of course, egg rolls. And I did the live because I know I did this video mainly because of the egg rolls. Because there's a lot of people who never made homemade egg rolls. And some people, just like me, before I ever tried it, I was like, oh, them got to be so difficult to make. But I started making them, a few years back. And I'm like, oh, these are nothing. They're not that hard to do. So, yeah, that's why I was like, let me just go live last night. Because first I wasn't going to go live, at the beginning portion of this video, I was live. And I'm like, let me go live, do my egg rolls, because maybe somebody, while I'm doing commentary on these YouTube streets, maybe somebody might, want to know how to make egg rolls, or, never made beef and broccoli. You never know. But so anywho, while that's warming up, I'm going to get some water on the stove because I want to make my rice to go with the beef and broccoli. So I'm going to grab another pan. Let's see. Okay, my rice is on top of the stove. Okay, so I'm going to put the rice on. And you can use whatever kind of rice you want. I got some 5-minute rice. I use, it just depends on usually what's on sale. And sometimes it doesn't when I buy, certain things. Sometimes I might buy Uncle Ben's. Sometimes I might buy minute rice. To me, rice is rice. And let's see, where's my cut? While the water is boiling for the rice, I'm going to now, so y'all can see my face. While the water is boiling for the rice, I'm going to go ahead and put the meat on because the grease is hot for the meat. So I'm going to add the meat and then half of the sauce mixture, half of this mixture that we made, and let that saute for 3 to 4 minutes. And again, here is the meat. It's been sauteing all night. All night long. All night. Yes. Yes. Gonna add half of this mixture. Saute this meat up real good. This mixture smells incredible, by the way. Yes, cook on, cook on, cook on. You can smell the garlic and the other seasonings that I put on the meat. I use some salt. I use some seasoned salt. I use a little pepper. I use some Greek seasoning. I use some onion powder, garlic powder. Not too many recipes or not too many spices because of this mixture that we're using. So I kind of use like a basic seasoning for that, for the meat, because I knew we were going to put in some more garlic and some soy sauce and the sherry, you know, all the other stuff that we put in there. So, but it's smelling good over here, y'all. It is smelling good over here in my neck of the woods. As far as the rice goes, though, you don't have to use rice, but that's like generally how the recipe, you know, is made with rice. Some people aren't big rice fans. You can make you some beef and broccoli and eat it just like that. But you know, I like mine over rice, and we use white rice, and my sons like theirs over white rice as well. And you know, you can add a little bit more, you know, soy sauce to it, you know, after it's all cooked and done. But this recipe, it, you know, you might not need soy sauce added to it, because you know it has that sauce combination that we put on there is usually, you know, good enough. But let me stir the meat a little bit. Just letting it brown up. And when you're sauteing the meat, you know, the way my stove is, it starts at low, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 high. So I have mine on the number 1. And actually, I'm going to put it on number 2. Number 1 isn't really cooking it that fast. So, not that I want to cook it too fast, but it's a lot of meat, so I put it on 2. So let me just put up some of these ingredients while the meat is cooking and the rice water is getting hot. Put these sauces, the soy sauce, the sherry, put all that back in the fridge. Put spoons and stuff in the dishwater. Grab the dish rag. Clean up my little board here. And my little side table. Put the sugar and the flour back up in the cabinet. Clean as you go. Clean as you go. This beef is coming along good. And again, it's 1.5 pounds of beef. But of course, if you had more people that you were trying to serve, because this, it's 3 of us, we can probably get at least 2 plates a piece out of this, plus some. You know? So I guess maybe if you're feeding like 8 or more people, 1 serving, this should be enough, 1.5 pounds for maybe like 8 people. Any more than that, you might want to double it, double the recipe. But yes, so I have to be at work at 4. It's almost noon here in the Midwest, so this whole meal should be done by at least 12:30-ish. And that still gives me a little time to relax and eat some of it for lunch. And then since I have to work tonight, I'll probably make a separate plate, to take to work, put in a container to take to work so I can eat some, tonight while I'm at work. But yeah, this would be more than enough for the three of my boys. I mean, for me and my two sons, plus some. And of course, with the rice, rice is filling. So yeah, you'll have plenty enough for at least a family of. I'm telling you, if it's only one portion that you're serving per person, you can probably feed like 8 people from that meat. It's like, again, 1.5 pounds, and you saw how much was in the bowl that I showed you that was marinating overnight, and then add that to the broccoli and add that to the rice. Yeah, you're good. This meat smells so delicious. So delicious. And the water for the rice is not totally bubbling yet, not totally hot yet. So I'm still waiting on the rice water to get really hot so I can add the rice to it. Keep sauteing and stirring this meat until you see no pink at all. While the meat is finishing up, I still see a little pink, so probably take about 5 more minutes. I'm going to put the 3 cups of rice in the 3 cups of water because the water is ready. Then remove the water from the rice from the water and cover. Turn off that eye. Stir this meat because I hear it over here crack-a-lacking. Crack-a-lacking. Cooking up a stone. Smelling good. Got the whole house smelling good. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. While the meat is finishing up and while the rice is sitting in the water, soaking up the moisture of the water, I'm going to go ahead and let's see. See, I'm going to go ahead and put the recipe for the egg rolls on here. I did read it off to you guys earlier, but I did say I was going to go ahead and also put the actual recipe on here. So here we go. This is for the egg rolls. So I'm going to just scroll down like I did before. You can use shrimp, you can use beef, or you can use chicken. But if you're using shrimp, make sure it's peeled, divined, and roughly chopped. And it's 1 pound. whether you use beef, shrimp, or chicken. We used, beef, pork, or shrimp. We use pork this time. So I'm just going to slowly scroll through the recipe. So that is the recipe. So I hope you guys do enjoy the egg rolls if you try the egg roll recipe as well. The beef and broccoli is basically done. I'm going to show you the beef and broccoli. Hopefully you can see it pretty well. Yes. I'm going to take that off the eye. And the rice has been sitting for at least 5 minutes, which is why they call it 5-minute rice. So I'm going to start fluffing the rice. Here's the finished meal. Got a little rice on my egg roll. Homemade beef, broccoli over some rice and homemade egg rolls. Yes. So I'm about to go enjoy this for lunch. It is now 12:15. I thought it would be 12:30 before I finish, but it is 12:15. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy this. And you guys, if you want to try the recipe, please let me know how it turned out for you. And I hope you enjoy it. And as usual, Primetime Squad, stay safe, be blessed. I'm going to get on out of here after a few hours and get to work. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day as well. Please don't forget to like this video and share it if you like. And feel free to subscribe to my channel if you like. I do cooking. I do desserts because I am a personal custom cake decorator. So I decorate custom design cakes online as well. I do TV reviews, TV show reviews, movie reviews, trending news, celebrity news, YouTube street news, all of the above. And there's my Cash App. Donations are not required, but if you feel, like you're in a donating mood, you can donate to me. Feel free. Tanya, $Tanya Primetime TV. And until we meet again, Primetime Squad, I am out. Deuces.